everyone, blessings and welcome. We have a very interesting topic for this video. I'm going to be talking about the signs that it's time to cut someone out of your life. But before we get to our topic, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also share this video, like this video. Feel free to drop a comment. As always, I do appreciate everyone's support of my channel. Now let's get into the signs that it's time to cut someone out of your life. Now, this could be a very tough and difficult decision to make. Cutting someone out of your life is not an easy decision to make and maybe hard to do, but my desire and my wish for you all in this new year is that you're in happy relationships, healthy relationships, very high functioning relationships. But unfortunately, there are those of you out there, those of us who are in unhappy relationships, very low functioning relationships, and even abusive relationships. So we want to get out of that, especially in this new year. We want to be our best selves. And sometimes that will require us to cut people out of our lives that are no longer serving us, people who are actually bringing us down, people who are causing us not to grow and causing us to be stagnant in life. We don't need that. So I'm going to share with you the 7 signs that I have found, actually some of the most egregious things that I have seen that would probably require you to cut that person out of your life. So let's get into those signs. Sign number 1 is that the relationship is one-sided. So if you're the person who is actually doing all of the work, if you're contacting them, and if you don't contact them, you don't hear from them. If you're the person who's always the soundboard and the person is always, dishing their problems out to you, and you're always the listening ear, and the person doesn't have time to hear your issues and what you're going through, and there's like really no reciprocity in a relationship. You're the one who's constantly giving. You're the one who's constantly looking out for the person. You're the one who's constantly supporting the person, but you're not getting the support, the love, and the dedication back. That means you're in a one-sided relationship, and that's a sign that it's probably time to cut that person out of your life, because we don't need to be in one-sided relationships. It's hard sometimes just being in a relationship with ourselves. We want to be in relationships where there is reciprocity, where there's give and take, where the person is giving and we're giving back to the person, and we're actually getting something in return, where we're actually being fulfilled and we're in a fulfilling relationship ourselves, where we're not doing all of the heavy lifting, where it feels like a relationship, right? And you're not the person that's constantly pouring into that person and they're not giving anything back in return. So if you find that you're in a relationship where it's one-sided and you're the person who's keeping the relationship going, and you're the person that's doing all of the work, you're the person that's doing all the support, you're the person who's actually keeping the thing going, maybe it's not worth being in a relationship with that person who's not willing to give. I mean, that's pretty selfish, isn't it? So you don't want to be with a selfish person. You don't want to be in a relationship that's one-sided, because after a while, it's just going to suck and drain the life out of you, and they're going to wear you out. And you don't want to be put in that position. You want to be in a relationship where you're also fed, where you're also fulfilled, where that other person is meeting a need, and that other person is also listening to you and also supporting you and also there in your corner as well. You deserve that. So if the relationship is one-sided, that's sign number 1. Maybe time to cut that person out of your life. You don't need that. Number 2, you don't feel good around them. When a person is for you and good for your life, they're going to energize you. You're going to feel good around them. Even if they tell you something you don't like, even if they tell you the truth and they're honest about things. I have friends who are very honest with me and who will call me out on my stuff. That's good to have people like that, but it's all done in love. But these same people are building me up. These same people actually energize me. And through them telling me, okay, you need to fix this or fix that, they're actually helping me, right? So it's actually good criticism, but I feel good. Even if you get criticism from the person, that the person cares about you, the person is looking out for you, and you feel revitalized after being around them, and they actually motivate you to do better. But if you're around people, and sometimes they don't have to say anything to you, but if you're around people and you feel drained, you feel tired, they just exhaust you. There's some people that are just very, very exhausting. That's a sign of that person is toxic. Because when a person is toxic And they may not say anything that's mean to you or say anything or do anything specific to you, but their whole vibe and their whole energy is off, and they're just toxic people and maybe not good on the inside, and maybe their soul and they're just disturbed on the inside. That kind of like pushes out of them, and it can latch on to you. So if you find yourself not feeling good around the person who you're spending time with, that is a sign that maybe they shouldn't be in your life. When we're around people, we should feel good around them. When we're around people, when they leave, when we're out of their presence, we should feel good about our meeting, feel good about the time that we spent with them. We shouldn't feel drained. We shouldn't feel sad. We shouldn't feel upset. We shouldn't feel angry. Good people and people that are good for our lives, they're going to energize us, they're going to revitalize us, and they're going to challenge us to do better and motivate us to do better. Those are all the good signs. But if you find yourself feeling terrible around the person that you have spent time with and the people that are in your life, that's a sign you should probably cut them out, because you don't see on a spiritual level, they're taking something away from you. And that's kind of like what it means. So they may not be doing anything specific to you, but spiritually, you could be incompatible with that person. Spiritually, something could be off and you could be unequally yoked, and they're actually pulling things out of you, and other things that are within them that are unhealthy may be attaching on to you. So if you don't feel good around the person, your body will tell you. Sometimes, when we connect with people, we get these emotional attachments, and we're not, rational all the time. And especially if we've had a history with the person and we're not quite thinking, you know what, our body will tell us, we start to feel sick around a person, or not good, or get a headache or some stomach ache or something like that, and feel depressed after we leave their presence. So if you're not listening with your brain and with common sense and with logic and with reason, your body will tell you. So I want you all to kind of like do this little exercise around the people in your inner circle. How do I feel around this person? Ask yourself, after you leave their presence, after y'all hang out or do whatever you do, ask yourself the question, now, how did I feel after I've spent time with this person? If it's terrible, consider, perhaps cutting that person out of your life. You don't need that. You don't need people that are pulling and taking things, especially spiritually, from you. That could be very detrimental. So if you don't feel good around them, that is a sign. Sign number 3, they don't respect your boundaries. So if the person is controlling, if the person is manipulative, if the person, gossip around, behind your back, these are all signs that, the person is not respecting your boundaries. If you ask the person to do something and they do the complete opposite, if you find that they're just not respecting your boundaries, that means they're not respecting you. Boundaries, we put boundaries in place. Actually, boundaries are there to protect us. And we draw the line with people so they don't cross it, so we can actually protect ourselves. But when people cross that line, they're telling us that, hey, I don't respect you and I don't care about your boundaries. You don't need to be in the presence of people or have people in your life that don't respect your boundaries. They are actually pretty dangerous people, and you could be putting yourself in a position to be abused. So people that don't respect boundaries are dangerous people. Now, on the flip side, a person is healthy if, not to say anyone who, sometimes you may not have set a boundary and you need to put a boundary, and you put a boundary there in a relationship, and the person may not know that they could be offending you. The person may not know that you don't like a certain thing. The person may not know these are your values, right? So if you set that boundary, a healthy person, this is what a healthy person would do. They will probably ask you why the change in behavior, or why you switched up in this manner, or why they will question you. Either they will question you with a change or make an adjustment. If the person is not willing to make the adjustment in respect, by respecting your boundary and seeing that it's there and acknowledging it, then if they don't do that, then they're probably not worth having in your life. So people that don't respect boundaries are very, very dangerous and not worth having around. Sign number 4, you don't trust them. So if you don't trust the person, then they're not worth having in your life. Trust is foundational to any relationship, especially a serious relationship. If you don't have trust, you don't have anything if you don't trust a person. So if the person has betrayed you, if you're dealing with a person and you don't know where their loyalties lie with you, if you're dealing with a person who is constantly lying, if you're dealing with a person who is jealous, if you're dealing with a person who is a gossip and talks behind your back, and they have done things and maybe they have stolen from you, and a host of other things that will kind of like break the trust in the relationship, or they have cheated on you, then you can't be in a healthy relationship with that person. And you have to really evaluate whether or not you want a person that you can't trust in your life. I definitely think that's a deal breaker, because trust is foundational. If you don't have trust, like I said earlier, you don't have anything. So you want to be in a relationship with people who you can trust, people you know, even if they hurt you, that they will do the necessary work to regain your trust. So if a person has betrayed you, if a person has done something where there's been, a break in a relationship and the trust has been gone, you can consider reconciling with that person if they're taking actionable steps and the right steps in the right direction to build the trust back in a relationship. But if you're dealing with a person who's not even willing to do that, cut them out of your life, like for real, because all that person is going to do is hurt you over and over again. And I think this is something, especially those of us in the Christian community, that we don't sometimes get. We think that we're supposed to forgive people, and the Bible does require us to forgive. Yes, forgive them, but that does not mean that you have to continue on having a relationship with that person. Sometimes we can forgive a person and they will never be sorry. They will never, there'll be no contrition whatsoever. They will never apologize to you for what they did to you. So you can forgive them, but that does not mean that they deserve to be in relationship with you. That does not mean that the relationship should be restored. So if that person is not working to rebuild the trust, cut them out. Cut them out. You can forgive them, but it doesn't mean they need to be in your life. Trust is foundational. Trust should be there. So if you don't trust them, they don't need to be in your life. Number 5. This may be a controversial one, but they always cancel on you. If a person doesn't respect your time, they don't respect you. And that's just something I believe, right? Your time is very valuable. We all have a limited amount of time on this earth, and people that don't respect your time, people that waste your time, they actually don't respect you. Now, I've said this in another video. I said we're kind of like in Generation Flake, and there's a lot of people who ghost and flake out on other people. That's kind of not cool at all. But the thing is, if you find that it's happening over and over again, sometimes people cancel for different reasons, for maybe even valid reasons, maybe a few times, but if you find that they're doing it over and over and over again, it could be a sign of 2 things. The first thing is that they don't respect you. They don't respect your time, and they don't really value you. For me, that boils down to value. Number 2, they may be telling you, I don't want to be bothered with you anymore. And that's, that might be hurtful, but that might be their way of kind of like getting out of the relationship with you by canceling on you and flaking out and, maybe ghosting for a period of time and then reappearing. Don't let people pop in and out. Your time is valuable. You're a valuable person. So don't let people use your time up like that. We don't have time to give away like that, because we don't know how much time we have left, right? So, and you could be spending that time with someone who actually values you and likes you and will take the time out for you. So you don't want to invest too much in people who are not willing to make the investment in you, right? So, so if you find that people are constantly canceling out on you, then that might be their way of telling you, I don't want to be bothered with you in the first place. So, when it comes to that, if you find a pattern of them constantly canceling, that is definitely a relationship where you need to take a step back and not invest any more time. And if it just dies out, let it die out. Some relationships are seasonal and just for a period of time. And just because, like I said earlier, you have a history with that person, that doesn't mean they're going to go with you into the next season of your life and the next stage and phase of your life. That might be, maybe they was with you in your college phase or your junior high school phase or your 20s or your 30s phase or whatever, right? Or your 40s phase, whatever. But doesn't mean that person is going to be with you all the way. So if they're canceling out on you constantly, that means they don't respect your time, and, spend your time with people who actually want to spend time with you. I don't know about you, but I have friends who, some very close friends that I don't talk to all the time, but when we connect, it's like awesome, and it's like no time has passed away. But when we do set up time to speak to each other, we make sure that we set up that time, and we commit to the time. That's the difference, right? So although we're not in constant communication with one another, when we do set a commitment to each other, we make sure we follow through. And you want people in your life, whether you're in constant communication with them or maybe once in a while communications with them, that they will commit to the time that they spend with you, and that they will respect the time that they spend with you and cherish you and care for you. That's a sign of care, respecting a person's time. Anyway, I could probably do a whole video on that, but I'm going to move on. So if they constantly canceling on you, if you see a long, history of that, they're not worth it. Number 6, sign number 6, they are very negative. Once again, that goes back to that toxic energy that can pull away from your spirit. So if the person is constantly complaining, constantly criticizing you, constantly trying to one-up you and make you feel bad or feel dumb or, not as smart as them. If a person is just negative about everything and about life just in general, that person is toxic. You don't need that toxic energy in your life. Yes, there are those of us who can be, complain a lot and be negative from time to time. There are those of us who are out there who are like that. I've said in other videos, I have the tendency of being pessimistic, but I'm not negative all the time. Like, who wants to be around that? That's like bad energy, So if you find that every time you're around that person, they're complaining, they're griping about something, they're whining about something. Every time you're around the person, they don't have anything good to say. Every time they're around a person, they're picking at you. There's always something, or they're criticizing you. You don't feel, going back to feeling good, they don't make you feel good. You don't need that negativity in your life. There's enough negativity in the world. There's enough negativity that we have to deal with. We have to deal with our own inner negativity. You don't want to be around somebody who is going to, really pull you down in their presence. You want to be around people that's going to be positive, around people, they may gripe and complain, but, to a limit. Where there's limitless negativity, you don't need to be in the presence of that person. And if you find, because what negativity does, negativity poisons the spirit, it poisons the soul. And you don't want, because that is coming from a toxic person. When a person is just negative and all they do and all they say is negativity, or every time they open their mouth, something negative flies out, that means that person is toxic. And if you're around something that's toxic, what's going to happen? Eventually, you're going to get poisoned. Eventually, it is going to spill over to you, and it's going to have a negative impact and a negative influence on you. So you don't want to be in that position. So if they are very negative, like all the time, cut that person out. You don't need that. Come on. You may have a history with the person that may been your boy, your girl back in the day. Maybe it's a family member, but, you don't need to be around that constant negativity. We deal with enough in life. So if the person is constantly negative, consider cutting them out. You don't need that. And finally, number 7, sign number 7, they never support you. So this is a very, very big thing. We enter relationships for companionship. We enter relationships to connect with people. We enter relationships for support and to bond with other people. And we want those bonds and we want those connections to be healthy. And you're in a healthy place with a person when the person is supporting you. When the person has your back. When you know the person is kind of like your cheerleader and helping you out. And when you know the person is going to be there for you when you need them. If you're dealing with a person who's never supportive, who doesn't have a kind thing to say, who's not there when you need them, why are they there? Ask yourself that question. Why are they there? Person doesn't support you. And if you need something, they're not there for you. Why are they taking your time, your energy, and taking up your space? Make sure that when you're in a relationship with people, especially your closest relationship, that you're getting support there. That person is able to encourage you. That person is able to look out for you. That person is going to be there to help you. And it should be reciprocal, vice versa. That's a sign when a person supports you that they care for you. It's also a sign of love. It's a sign of consideration. And it's a sign that they want to be a part of your life. But if the person never supports you, they never look out for you, they don't care really, they're not really invested about what's happening with you, I don't think they're worth being in your life. Find supportive people to be a part of your life. So if they never support you, that's definitely a sign and consideration for cutting them out of your life. We want to be in as many healthy, happy, and supportive relationships as possible. So those are the 7 signs that it may be time to cut a person out of your life. I really want the best for all of you, my viewers out there. I want the best for you. I want you, especially in this new year, to be in very high functioning relationships. It's time to cut out those relationships that are dragging you down, the relationships that are not helping you in life. We need, and I'm including myself, we all need to be in relationships that are going to help us to get to the next level. Relationships, especially in this day and age, as we're still, as this video is being recorded, we're still in a pandemic. And we need support. We all need to support each other, and we all need to help each other. And we don't need any dead weight around us. So those are the signs that I want to share with you. I hope this video has been a blessing to you. If so, share this video and send it out to the world, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Once again, I do thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care and God bless.